I've always been drawn to old things with a story. That's why when I saw the little antique shop tucked away on a dusty side road, a place that didn't show up on any map, I had to stop. The shop was cluttered, smelling of old paper and wood polish. In a dark corner, a grandfather clock caught my eye. It was made of dark, almost black wood, with a tarnished brass pendulum. Shop owner, a man with eyes that seemed to hold centuries of secrets, warned me it was more of a decoration. He said it never kept time right, but I didn't care. I loved the heavy, rhythmic ticking sound it made. It felt like a heartbeat. So, I bought it. Bringing it home was a struggle. It was heavier than it looked. I finally managed to hang it on the main wall in my living room, right across from my favorite armchair. That's when I first noticed something was off. The second hand wasn't sweeping forward. It was moving backward. Counterclockwise. I tapped the glass face, thinking maybe the gears were stuck. But no, the ticking was steady, precise, each tick marking a second slipping away in reverse. I shrugged it off as a quaint eccentricity, a broken but beautiful piece of history. I was so wrong. That first night, my dreams were incredibly vivid. I relived moments from my childhood I thought were long gone, the smell of my grandmother's baking, the feeling of scraping my knee on the sidewalk, the sound of my best friend's laughter from 3rd grade. It was so real, so tangible. When I woke up, the morning sun was streaming through the window, but I felt a chill. I looked at the clock. The hands pointed to 9:15, but the date on the clock face, a small, intricate dial I hadn't noticed before, showed a day exactly 10 years in the past. It was unsettling, but I tried to rationalize it. It's a broken old clock, I told myself. It's just a coincidence. But the day got stranger. My phone rang in the afternoon. It was an old friend from college, someone I hadn't spoken to in nearly a decade. "This is going to sound crazy," she said, her voice hesitant, "but I just had this overwhelming urge to call you. I was thinking about that road trip we took." We talked for over an hour, reminiscing about a past that suddenly felt very present. After we hung up, I just stared at the clock, its hands still creeping backward. The next morning, the clock had rewound another few years. I checked my phone, and there were new notifications. Text messages from years ago had reappeared, conversations I'd long since deleted. A happy birthday message from an ex, a funny meme a friend sent me in 2012. It was like my digital life was regressing along with the clock. I felt a mix of fear and a strange kind of thrill. It was like getting a second chance to see my own history. Later that day, I was getting dressed when I noticed something in the mirror. A faint white scar on my forearm. One I'd gotten from a cooking accident years ago was almost completely gone. It was just a pale pink line, as if the wound was healing in reverse. But not everything that returned was welcome. And not everything came back the way I remembered it. People from my past started to remember events differently. A former coworker called me angry, accusing me of sabotaging a project we worked on together years ago, an incident I was certain had been an accident, something we had both moved on from. But in his memory, I was malicious, calculating. It was like the clock wasn't just rewinding time. It was rewriting it, twisting the narrative of my life. The good memories were being poisoned by these altered recollections. 2. The joy of finding lost moments was replaced by a creeping dread. Who was I becoming in this new, revised history? The fear finally outweighed the curiosity. I decided I had to get rid of the clock. One evening, I grabbed a hammer and a pry bar, determined to pull it off the wall. But it was impossible. I hammered at the nails holding it up, but they wouldn't budge. Chat. The metal just bent and twisted as if the wall itself had turned to steel. The clock seemed fused to the house, a permanent fixture of my life. I gave up, exhausted and terrified, slumping into my armchair. The clock ticked on, backward, relentless. That night, my dreams were a nightmare. I was trapped in a single repeating loop, the day my younger brother disappeared. We were kids, playing hide and seek in the woods behind our house. I was the seeker. I counted to 100 and opened my eyes. I called his name over and over, but he never answered. The memory was so sharp, so painful, it felt like it was happening all over again. I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. The room was eerily silent. The ticking had stopped. My eyes shot to the clock. The hands were frozen. And the date on the small dial? It was the exact day my brother vanished all those years ago. Then I heard it. A soft, hesitant knocking at my front door. My blood ran cold. It was 3 a.m. Who could possibly be here? With trembling hands, I unlocked the door and pulled it open. He was standing there. My brother, exactly as I remembered him from that last day. He was pale and silent, wearing the same red t-shirt and muddy sneakers. He didn't look a day older. He just stared at me, his eyes empty, as if he'd been waiting just outside the door for 20 years. Behind me, in the silent living room, the clock on the wall remained still, its great pendulum unmoving. It had brought him back. But it hadn't brought back the boy I knew. I've tried to find that antique shop again, driving up and down every forgotten road, but it's gone. It's like it never existed. As for the clock, it's still on my wall. It doesn't tick anymore. It just hangs there, a silent monument to a single frozen moment in time. But sometimes, late at night, I think I see the second hand twitch. I think it's waning, waiting for the chance to go back just one more second to undo the one thing it fixed. And I'm terrified of what will happen when it does. If you enjoy cursed object stories and true horror tales that will keep you up at night, make sure you hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next descent into the unknown. Thanks for watching.